Rocket, the way I got him, how I got him, why I got him, and pretty much his backstory. We'll get right into it. Okay, it was one day back in May 2016. I went to the Petco here in Houston to get some dog food for my dogs. And I kind of got a habit, whenever I'm in Petco or PetSmart, I always go through and look at the reptiles, the fish, the small animals. It's pretty much every time I go, I always look at the other animals. I may not even be interested in buying one that day. I gotta look. So I go through and I see these iguanas. They have some reds, some blues, some greens, and I'll be honest with you, there was a blue in the enclosure that really caught my attention, and it was like 2 blues, probably 3 or 4 reds, which Rocket was one of. Then they had a lot of greens. So it stayed in my mind, like, man, I always wanted another iguana. I had one that I got when he was probably a little bit smaller than Rocket, and I had monitors at the time. I traded one of my monitors for an iguana, but that iguana kind of was a bad experience because it was, like I say, older, but it wasn't tame. So I got this grown iguana that was pretty much mean and aggressive. And to be honest too, at the time I really didn't know much about iguanas. I was raising monitors, which are night and day. So I thought, I didn't do a lot of research, and I thought that maybe they was just the same way as monitors, but it was a whole different world. So fast forward, I see these iguanas, and I happen to always see them all the time, but that was my first time really paying attention to the blues and the red. I had never really seen the blues and the red in person. I saw them online and everything, but I never saw them in the actual pet store. So it stayed in my mind. Like, once I left, I was like, man, that blue iguana was clean. So that next day, with it still weighing heavy on my mind, I was like, I'm gonna go get it. And I called up there, and they was like, we sold one, but we still have one left. And I was like, okay, cool. So I was gonna go back that day, but something came up, so I wasn't able to go get it. So I waited till the next day, and I didn't call, I just went up there. They was like, nah, it sold yesterday, or whatever. So I was like, man. And the whole time when I admired the blues, I admired the reds just as well. But I happen to like the blues a little bit more. Blue is my favorite color. I saw this blue iguana, so I was like, cool. But anyway, I rolled all the way out there, and I was like, no, I'm not gonna make a blank trip. I got it in my mind to get an iguana. I already had a small aquarium set up as a starter tank. So you know what? I was like, I'm gonna get one of these reds. And Rocket, out of his little litter that he was a part of, he was the biggest one. Not too much bigger than the rest, but he was the biggest out of all of them. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna take this red one right here. And that's kind of how, it all came about. That Rocket was actually meant to be a blue iguana that I was going to pick up, but it turned out to be Rocket. I couldn't be much happier. I think he's happy that he came to a good home. And yeah, so that day, and it was, like I said, it was May. And anybody who's familiar with the Houston area, we have a lot of floods. So me knowing that I got this iguana that I'm gonna have to build a big enclosure for, from my prior experience to having the other iguanas and the monitors, I had already stockpiled some equipment that I was going to use to build the enclosure. So fast forward a few days, it's like, Memorial Day, and we had this big flood in Houston. So around this time, we can't go nowhere, have nothing else to do. I wasn't planning on building my enclosure yet, but since it was flooding, I was like, hey, let's go ahead and build this enclosure. Build a big enclosure. That's probably like a couple weeks after I got him, and put him in an enclosure. And that's pretty much was a rapper. And since then, he's been here and happy. You see, he's starting to move around now. And another question I want to answer too, a few people ask me, the whole thing that made me want to get an iguana is back in the day we had this beach party in Texas, the Kappa Beach Party. And I went one time, and that's when I had monitors. And I saw a guy with a giant green iguana. You know, he was walking down the beach on a halter with a halter. And I was like, man, ever since then, I had an admiration for iguanas. And so that's how it came to be. But thank you guys for watching. If you're not subscribed on TikTok, please do so. The link is in the description. And that's what's up. Check y'all next time. Peace.